All right. Time is 6:31 PM. I'd like to call to order this public hearing for Tuesday, October 14th. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Here.
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 Counselor Page.
Here.
Counselor Flores.
Here.
Stephen Andretta.
Here.
Counselor Piniaco.
Here.
Mayor
God.
Here. We have a quorum. As stated, this is a public hearing concerning the future sale of the future street between the sale of the Budney Road, Stump Road, whatever you want to call it, how you want to say it. It's the property between 36 and 50 Budney Road. We will open up the floor for anyone who wishes to speak in public participation. We ask that you keep your remarks to 4 minutes. And please state your name and address for the record. We will start in the room and alternate between in the room and over Zoom. Give it a minute in case anyone's late. All right, no one on Zoom, nobody in the room. Any takers? All right. We will close the public participation portion, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
A motion by Deputy Mayor Rada, second by Councilor Menke. Any further discussion on adjournment? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? All right. We are adjourned 6:33 PM. Great work. What, we're good? Oh, okay, perfect. So I'll just hit a 7. I'm good to go.
We're on.
Time is 7 PM and I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of the Newington Town Council for Tuesday, October 14th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is our roll call, Susan?
Yes, Councilman Drago.
Here.
Councilman Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilman Yankee.
Here.
Councilman Nagel.
Here.
Councilman Page.
Here.
Ford.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Rada.
Here.
Councilman Siniakos.
Here.
Mayor Tristan.
Here. All right, we have a quorum. Move on to approval of the agenda. Any changes that anyone needs to make? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So approved.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Rada,
Second.
seconded by Councilor Mankey. Any discussion on approving the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? All right, motion carries unanimously. The agenda is approved. Moving on, we have a couple of really interesting presentations tonight, but we have a very, very, very special proclamation to do up front. We are going to honor and recognize our amazing town clerk, who was recently acknowledged as Town Clerk of the Year in the state of Connecticut. So we are really excited. With that, I will read the proclamation. Proclamation of the Newington Town Council. Whereas James Kropinski has served as the Newington Town Clerk since August 2016, after having served as Deputy Town Clerk in South Windsor and Assistant Town Clerk in Vernon. And whereas, in addition to his duties as Town Clerk, James also served as Acting Town Manager from December 22nd through July 2023. And whereas during his tenure in Newington, James has reinstituted the Perfect Pooch Contest, implemented digital access to archival agendas and minutes, imported land records and vital records into online portals, and replaced damaged land record binders dating back to 1871. And whereas James is well known within Newington for his prompt and courteous customer service, meticulous attention to detail, and vast understanding of the state statutes governing Connecticut municipalities. And whereas last month, the Connecticut Town Clerks Association recognized James as the 2025 Town Clerk of the Year and highlighted his excellent leadership, tireless dedication to elections, and unwavering support for fellow municipalities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Newington Town Council proudly celebrates James for this tremendous honor and recognizes his extraordinary service over the past 9 years to the residents and businesses of Newington. Dated in Newington, Connecticut, this 14th day of October, 2025. Not yet. Everyone's gonna talk about you. Motion, seconded by Deputy Mayor Rada. Any discussion from council? Yeah, you gotta say it.
I'll take a sec.
Yeah. Counselor Tiniakis.
James, I've known you for a couple of years now. And personally, I think you're a great guy. But what you do for the town, I feel like is invaluable. I feel like you're the perfect safety net that the town needs. I'm sure you go through miles and miles of paperwork every day to sifting through, making sure that, everything's up to snuff. And then, you keep our history alive in this town. You preserve it and you make it accessible for everyone. So just thank you for everything you do. You're more than deserving of this. So I'm just super excited for you.
Counselor Gonzalez.
Oh, you're coming up now.
Fine, you can. Yeah.
Thank you so much, James, for everything that you do. You are always there when I have a question and you always have an answer, whether you have to look it up. Usually you don't, because usually you just know it. But congratulations. This is very well deserved.
Thank you. Counselor Draco.
Okay, now when I think of James, there's some words that come to mind, but the ones that I can say here are professional, integrity, efficient, and a very, very strong work ethic. You're an encyclopedia of knowledge, both current knowledge and institutional knowledge. And on many responsibilities, like we were talking before, your public records, licensing, legal filings, election oversight, meeting and documentation coordination, just to name a few. And you also play a real critical role in that you're often the first point of contact for new residents to town who are seek information and services. So that's kind of sets the tenor of what they expect from the town staff and employees. And I really feel that you understand what the meaning of public servant is. And in my opinion, you strive for excellence in everything you do. You keep this engine running. And we're fortunate to have you. And I'm just so pleased that the state association has recognized that as well. So thank you so much for all your help in the past, the present, and I'm sure in the future.
Thank you. Counselor Menke.
I just would like to congratulate you on this award. Robert's Rules of Order are never easy to understand, especially for me. And I over the 9 years that you served as town clerk and I've been in this seat, I've asked many stupid questions that it seemed easy for me to understand, but that didn't make it right. And you've taken the time to explain it without making me feel stupid, how it's supposed to work. And I appreciate your patience to make me understand. It should be James Rules of Order because the way you explain it makes sense to me. I appreciate that effort and the way you keep us all running on a smooth basis. I've also appreciated your friendship. I think you and I, over the 9 years, we've become friends, and I think that's important too. I appreciate your dedication to the town and dedication to your staff and to that office of town clerk. I hear many comments about people who go in for small things like marriage certificates or dog licenses, and they always have good things to say about your office and yourself. And I appreciate the fact that you're the face of your office and you are the face of how people interact for the most part with our town sometimes. And that does you credit. So keep up the good work. And I'm sure this is a well-deserved award and congratulations.
Thank you. Counselor Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. James, you are incredibly valuable to this community. And like Councilor Bedrejko said, you are like the welcome mat that most people see when they come to town hall and they're looking for access to services or an answer to a question. And I feel so confident, particularly getting to know you over the past 2 years, and proud that you are in that role in this building. You are that first person that people interact with, because your role is so much more important today than I think at any other point, when folks have mistrust in what government can do and, are worried about, what happens in this building. For you to be able to provide that over and above level of support and service to people, going above and beyond. You don't just, roll out the welcome mat. You roll out the red carpet for every resident who comes to your door and asks for a question. So you do an incredible job. It has been such a privilege to work with you over the past 2 years and to earn the recognition of your colleagues on this really important role that you and all of them do must mean the world. And we recognize just how valuable that is. So thank you so much for everything that you do, and here's to the next many years to come.
Thank you, Counselor. Deputy Mayor Rada.
So much has already been said, but I still have a few words to say. You are, in many respects, the first person, or your office is the first group of faces that people see when they come in this door. Any questions that I've ever had, you have an answer or you find an answer. You're detail oriented. Having a love of history myself, I remember coming in the back one day and you showing me all of these old records and how you had took it upon yourself to begin to organize and to maintain all of these historic records that I think are so important for not only for our community, but if we're looking statewide, and people I'm sure come from outside of Connecticut that are looking for information, and they can come to you. You stepped in as acting town manager. You hit the ground running. You kind of had no choice, but you did, and you did it well. And you did it in such a way that it made, particularly as I'm looking at the dates through budget time, made it easier for the council to continue its work. This is absolutely well-deserved. I'm just want to congratulate you and wish you many more years, hopefully here in this building, in that office, working with us. And thank you for everything that you've done. And it's been a pleasure to know you and hopefully to work with you on a continuing basis.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Counselor Page.
Thank you, Mayor. James, you are just a walking encyclopedia. It's amazing how much you know. If we ask a question, you make us look good, which is very hard to do, all of us. And so your knowledge and like others have said, the speed with which you can access information up here. And if you don't have it right there, you know how to get that for us. And you're very detail oriented, and you have the highest standards, the ethical, professional standards. And we're very grateful on behalf of the whole town. We all speak on behalf of the town to extend our gratitude to you and many, many more years of success and helping us all look good and function better. Thank you very much, sincerely.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Nagel.
Thank you, James. As I've said to you privately, and I'm now here to say publicly, you have always been the clerk of the year here in Newington, I think throughout the whole state itself. I'm proud to have had the privilege of sharing in one way or another and witnessing your hard work because we've both been around for many, many years. And I know the high points and the low points that we both have shared and you have shared, and how you have efficiently and professionally conducted yourself and appear to enjoy looking for the details and the methods in which problems can be solved, and the pride in which your office is run. I too have been in the archives and was taken on a private tour, and when new record shelves and whatever were put in, you took me, and I willingly went, of course, to share and to see how delighted you are in all that you do, and you maintain that expertise, you maintain that graciousness continually, whatever the circumstances happen to be. I'm not only happy about having you here in Newington and hope you stay here in the future in Newington, but my two dogs are as well. They know you well. They know you personally also. And if they still allow me in town hall next year to bring them in to get their dog tags in person, I will have them come and visit you, and I know you will greet them warmly. Congratulations, well-deserved reward from the state and this proclamation that we have here tonight. Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Yeah, the trouble with going last is everyone says so much, but I think, it's all true. It's all clear. I mean, you are the face of the town of Newington for so many people who come in for whatever it is. You're the face, and we're so lucky that you're the face of this town because you're always smiling. You always got an answer. You're always calm. You're always cool and collected. You're always ready to go. And I think that's, it resonates, and it gives a sense of calm to the rest of the community. I know from our standpoint, I know when we're doing something on the council business, it's got your stamp of approval on it. It's good. We know it's good. It's clean, and it gives us, comfort to do what we have to do. I'm fortunate enough to be able to, I get to talk with my peers in other communities often, and they got a lot of problems around the state that we don't have here because we have such an amazing town clerk. Dave said, we've known that you've been the best town clerk in the state a long time. We're really, really happy that the state association finally caught up to it. And we're so just proud for you and happy and, wish you the best and lots and lots of more years here in town hall. Thank you so much, James. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We had a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Motion carries unanimously. Here you go. Please.
Speech.
It's weird to be on the other side of these. Usually you're writing them, you're not receiving them. I've enjoyed my 9 years here in Newington. It's been wonderful. I know there's somebody who calls me the computer of the town because of the access and the speed at which I supply information. I've had the benefit of having wonderful staff that has allowed us to be able to get so much extra work done within the town, to be able to have access to that information so quickly. Without them in my office, none of that could have been done. And it is to their benefits that I've received the award at the state. Our association recognizes clerks, and we've been recognizing them since the mid-'80s. And for the town of Newington, this is the second time we've received this award. So the first time was in 1996 with Roberta Jenkins, 29 years ago.
Wow.
So it's nice to bring it back to Newington, get it the recognition that we all know it deserves, and we're happy to have it here. And I'm going to draw it short because I know there are people here who want to speak. So I just want to thank the council for recognizing me from the association's wonderful decision. You never know what's going to happen when you're nominated. I was nominated 2 years ago up against 5 people, 5 very strong clerks. And you know what? I was still happy with who won. Happened to be New Britain's town clerk, but I was very happy for him. And sometimes it just comes around to you. So thank you all very much. I look forward to seeing those who are back and those who are retiring. Councilor Page, Councilor Nagel, good luck in the future, and don't forget to stop in.
Congratulations. At this point, we would like to leave the floor open for anybody who would like to come up and speak in favor or anything about James. Come on up.
Hopefully not opposed.
Yeah, not opposed, not opposed.
Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive. Having worked for the probate court for over 20 years, I had many discussions with our town clerks over the years, but not as many as I've had with James. Especially since after I retired, I started coming to meetings and there was always a question. Did they do this right? Did they do that right? And sometimes I didn't like his answer, but I knew he was right. So I gotta go with it, But he's always there for everyone, When you say bipartisan, he's bipartisan. He doesn't care who you are or and he'll tell you the truth. And the thing is, some listen, some don't. And hopefully, he'll stay here for a long, long time and keep us all under control, me included, because he calms me down sometimes when I'm furious the next day after a meeting. Speaking of which, can we do something about the parking out there? I went around 5 times looking for a parking spot. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Mady Kenny, 53 Crestview Drive. And in all the years I've come here, I still don't feel comfortable in this particular spot. Rose asked me if there was anything I wanted to say, and I said no. And then I started to think as she was speaking. One of the things that we're finding in this times that I so appreciate with James, he is without a doubt the most genuinely kind individual. He is just always there for those of us in the town and questions and concerns. And he always treats people with kindness. And I think that's something that the world needs more of. So thank you, James, who I must confess, every once in a while I call Tim, because when I first met him, he looked like a Tim. And every once in a while I screw up. So James, AKA Tim, I love you.
Anybody else in the room would like to come up and speak? Or not? Oh, come on up.
Ooh, it's so low. Dana Havens, 113 Stoddard Avenue. So James, you have to blame Rose for all the times that I bother you because she's the one who told me who to go to. And I'd just like to say that kindness, that's what made me come up. You're right. Kindness is a huge thing with him. So no matter how stupid my question was, he just treated it so respectfully and brought it down to my simple understanding level. And we're lucky to have him. Thanks.
Anyone else would like to come up and speak? There'll be another chance if you want. All right. Congratulations, James. Very, very well deserved. We're really proud of you. I think you're ready. You're dismissed.
Chicken soup.
There you go. There you go. Enjoy. Go
Bring some
celebrate.
back.
Yeah. Enjoy. Thanks, guys. All right. Moving on. Next, we are having a very interesting presentation from our town engineer, Chris Video, about the New Britain Business District Streetscape Improvement Plan. Ooh. Come on up, Chris. I see you got your other partner in crime with you just in case. And the boss in the back.
Very hard to do this job without the help of your colleagues.
Yeah.
Who is not right behind me.
If I have a little help with my friends. Absolutely. All a team. That's it. Excited to have you guys here tonight. Long time coming.
So we're here to talk about what is now known as the New Britain Avenue Business District Streetscape Improvement Project. And this is an update that you requested from us. Obviously, I'm Chris's video town engineer, and this is Paul Dixon, town planner. And our try and keep this as brief as possible. Next slide, please.
Yep, so this is just an overview map on the screen for you, just to orient everyone. I think we're all very familiar with the New Britain Ave and Maple Hill Ave, where they come together. But this is the project area for the site. This is similar to what was in your packet. We just added a couple markers on it, labeled the streets to really orient you and to orient those watching along online or those in the room as well. So you can see Public Market, 7-Eleven, and Company 5, kind of just to orient you to the area of the project.
So a little bit of project recap or project history. This started with a state bond request from 2020 to reauthorize unexpended funds, and in this case, in the amount of $500,000 to finance this project. There've been several variations of plans since then. I won't go into the details of the many, many plans my predecessor did, or the versions of those that came out of that timeframe. More recently, staff, meaning mostly us, held several stakeholder meetings that brought us to the current set of plans. Stakeholder meetings, for those who may not know the term, are people who actually live there. Most of them are sitting behind me right now. So we've tried to accommodate their requests within the scope of the project to the amount that we can afford for this. And if there's minor remaining work that comes after this that we'd like to incorporate, we can do that through the CIP process or other means.
Yep, and we've had a great time working again with the businesses in the district, because that's the main thing with a plan like this. It has to be supported by those who are doing the work in front of it. Otherwise, it's an imposition rather than doing something that is actually beautifying or supporting the district.
I'd rather not do it than make it worse. So this plan was the one that was actually in the application. This was an early concept level plan done by Gary, my predecessor. And the colored sections on these islands indicate those that were supposed to be done in pavers, those that were to be done in lawn, new sidewalks, and new decorative street lighting. So by decorative street lighting, what I'm talking about are the lights along Main Street as an example, we're actually trying to match that same product. Being an engineer, I'd like it better if they are exactly the same product, because then facilities doesn't have to buy parts for different types of lights. We'll see if we can make that happen. So it was a lighting and a landscaping project at that time. So this plan that Paul's just brought up is the overview of that same area, with the benefit of we have now actually done a land survey of the area. So any quantities are based on actual area on the ground. And so this sharpens the pencil to some extent for the estimates. And we've made a little blow up for you because we know how hard it is to see these on these screens. This is the west leg of the intersection. And you can see where we're looking to do, fortunately, it's gray and not color. We're going to do driveway aprons. We're looking to do additional sidewalks. We have a project sign, what we call a knee wall sign, that is in the corner of Maple Hill Avenue and New Britain Avenue in front of Elm Hill Pizza. It'll basically announce that you're in the New Britain Business District. We'll have also signage to that effect, but regular street pole mounted signs on either end of New Britain Avenue as you approach the area. Next one.
Yep, and there are addition of, I can point out on this plan too, working with the business district, there's always concerns with street trees and blocking signage. So we've identified a couple areas right now. You can see there's one street tree proposed over here, if you can see the mouse going around, and then replacing the two that were in front of the 7-Eleven. One was removed, the other is not that great a shape. Those are located within the right of way, so it'd be kind of improving that area as well.
This is the east leg. Why don't you take this one?
Yep, so on the east leg, what you can see is kind of brought up on the other side too. Kind of the match line is that sidewalk, actually the crosswalk. One of the proposals for this is right now is to have a better crossing in that area. We'd be working with, the DOT in the future of whether they would keep the one that was a little more angular. Problem with an angular crosswalk is it's a little longer to go across it. It's not the best for older residents or those with disabilities in the amount of time. So by creating a shorter leg on the other side is actually more efficient and better for user experience. The plan is actually to do pavers kind of in these areas. There wasn't enough in the budget to do pavers throughout. That gets very expensive. But I think the main point is to kind of have that focal point of where the business district comes together at Maple Hill and New Britain to really have that area really announce itself as something different. So I think that's the area where we can get some pavers into the project, and then also look for additional opportunities for street trees. We do have one proposed by the gas station right here, where it didn't look like it was going to interfere with the signage. Again, that's something that we're going to have to continuously review and then look in the field, because that is, again, a major concern. It'll be replacing the sidewalks on the southern extent. And, there are some areas right there where there's some unevenness, there's wearing, that really the sidewalks have a little bit of life in them, but not that much in this area.
So part of the original grant application had us completing the sidewalks from, go ahead and show that.
Yep.
Along the house to the east of the gas station. Unfortunately, we had to take that out for cost considerations, but we do have an active sidewalk reconstruction program in the CIP. So I will identify this as an area to do that with. We also had some requested work at Firehouse 5, and we'll also look at that at budget season for another CIP request. That as I understand, is going to be the swing firehouse when Firehouse 4 gets rebuilt. So we'll have a reason to do some work over there. And that's also a part of the original proposal where we would have liked to have put a gazebo behind and provide seating for the two businesses that are immediately in that corner, Elm Hill Pizza and Giovanni's Bakery, to give people a place to sit when they're enjoying their meals. We will still go back and look to do that. It just didn't survive the budget. Now, if it happens that the bids come in under budget, we can add this work back in. So it's not gone forever.
And then the next item we have for you is actually for your opinion on pavers. This is, one of those, there's two kind of options out there. These are larger blowups. I have another slide with them a little more focused in. Chris knows a little bit more about the different products. I think you've kind of researched them a little. So I will go to the next and you can really see. So one on the left and then everything else on the right is one type of paver as well.
So the big difference is the red ones that look like bricks are probably because they're very similar to bricks. They're clay paver. They're very durable. They're long lasting. Even in the tough environment of the side of a DOT controlled road who never misses an opportunity to put salt down. And then the alternate for that, it's go to the next page.
I think that's
Where'd the other one go?
that's right there.
Oh,
Two different.
I just can't see it all that well. So the other one is a concrete based product. It is a little less durable. It's also a little less expensive. So it's one of those, if we have to, we go to the less expensive one and we just have to put a little more effort into maintenance, meaning occasionally you have to replace them, sort of like Market Square where I have to have pavers replaced on an annual basis. So if we can swing it, we'll go with the more durable product, but if we can get more bang for our buck, we'll go with the less expensive one and do a little more work. That's all decisions made at the time we put the bid out, which we're anticipating being late winter. Cost estimate was provided for you to look at, and it's pretty much in line with what the budgeted amount was for the grant. It ran over a little bit. One of the things Jonathan had asked me to do was have an answer ready for you about that difference. And the big difference really comes down to, we have two large items in there, one for contingency and one for incidentals, each at 5% of the contract amount. That amounts to roughly $70,000 between them. So if we don't run into any unforeseen problems, we've got this covered. If we do, the other option for us is in this bid amount is $7,000 for survey work. My survey crew can easily do that for us if we get to that point. I just try not to have staff intertwined. Well, I didn't say that right. Intertwined.
I like intertwined.
I like a new word. We'll put that in the Oxford English Dictionary. With contract work, and it's just because you get into a dispute over contract stuff between our staff and their contract, it's less pleasant to deal with than if it's their people making their mistakes. Not that mine make mistakes, they don't.
No doubt.
So I think that's the end of the presentation. We're ready for questions.
Thank you so much, guys. Open it up for questions. Councilor Gonzalez.
When would this, I know you said that it would go to bid. When did you say that it would go to bid?
Late winter.
And then when would this actually come to fruition?
Ideally, we bid in the winter and we start work in the spring. Now, that being said, there's requests from the stakeholders. I think this is a little too close to me. I'm hearing myself in the speaker. To do this in the middle to late part of the summer, because that is their slow period. The bakery and the pizza businesses both apparently have seasons. I just learned that recently from Tony, who is here with us tonight. I didn't think there was a season for pizza because I'll eat pizza anytime. But that was their desire. So we can still bid it in the winter and have a start date of, say, July 1st or whatever is most suitable for the stakeholders. And then just treat it that way. Now, that works also for staff because we'll have other projects that'll start in April, let's say. So we're not getting into the point where we're tripping over ourselves as well.
And just one last, how long would this take to complete?
I wouldn't imagine a project like this would go more than a month and a half.
Thank you. It looks beautiful. Thank you.
Councilor Draco.
Yeah, I just have a few questions. How many businesses are currently operating in that area? And also, how many vacancies are there? Do you know?
Do not know that off of my head, except we know that the dry cleaners, of course, is vacant. On that one, there haven't actually been that many vacancies in the area. Yeah, I think most part it actually is, you have public market, you have 7-Eleven, but then you also have the multi-tenant commercial strip there that seems to be doing well. I think recently another either smoothie or type of shop kind of went in there as well. You have that turn that happens, in the commercial environment. Restaurants are tough, but it seems to be doing well.
Okay, so there's about 30, 40, or how many are with some anchors like Public Market and Elm Hill Pizza?
Yeah, I could get a number for you, definitely.
Yeah, I'm just curious about that. And the reason I'm asking is this is going to make a significant improvement to the appearance of the area. The businesses have been involved, I guess, already, and asking what they need, what they want, what they envision. Are there any plans for staff? Because I don't believe that, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's like a Maple Hill Business Association, whatever, to get the businesses together once this is completed, to work with for staff to work with the businesses to kind of generate some excitement, some promotion, get a ribbon cutting, get some kind of, events or something going to promote and get this area more vital and more inviting, because it's going to be more aesthetically appealing, but to get the businesses together, to get some kind of promotions and events to get people there. So would staff be able to work with them to kind of get them together?
Yep, I think that would be, staff, me and Eric, primarily through the economic, yep, and the, we'll talk about later, the new person in the staff as well too, to be able to, cover this level of work. I think this will be a great catalyst for that.
Exactly.
It's the town showing investment. It's the town showing that, yes, that was, when you read back on the history, it's okay, what areas have been potentially, haven't seen the level of investment that, other areas in town, that the town center have seen, again, as Chris was noting, with like the pavers that could put in everything, that this is an opportunity to highlight another one of those districts. So I think it'd be a wonderful opportunity. And we'll have people who will come in during construction. There's always a little bit of growing pains, but that'll be a great opportunity for, hey, this is wrong. Oh, yeah, let's talk to us. Let's figure out what we can do to help you.
I think a nice kickoff, again, once you have it, pretty much complete, and then something ongoing to just keep interest in that area generated. Thank you.
Councilor Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you both for all of your work to continue to move this project forward. Like Councilor Bertrako said, this is an area of town that's, and as you said as well, that's had some historic disinvestment. And I really liked what you said about this almost being the first step, that there's still much more to do, including in aligning council's budget with extensions of this project. So I think that's really exciting, and I'm glad that that's happening. You talked about some of the conversations you had with businesses, and I know you met with many businesses. Some folks are here. What kind of feedback did they give you, if you don't mind just talking about that? How did you incorporate some of their concerns in the project?
Well, Dave doesn't like trees.
Okay.
Or just in front of his business. I will say on that one.
Neither would I.
But then again, a lot of that is, yes, there's the concerns of the businesses. As I said, the trees is a big thing. We hear it around town. Just figuring out the right places for them. And that's been a lot of that discussion, because, some of the earlier plans just kind of had them pasted in, kind of equally spread, but didn't have that much of okay, what is it actually in front of?
There's the signage.
Yeah. And, in front of public market, as we know, you have utility lines, you have signs, you have a very limited area to put anything anyway. So I think that's an important thing. It has to be the right place. It has to be able to survive, and it has to not interfere with the businesses. And that's a tall order. But I think a lot of it is, a lot of the maintenance concerns, when we were discussing pavers. It was like, what areas to include for pavers? Yes, we would like to do the whole thing, but we can't afford it. What are the most important areas to have them? And that was a discussion in the business too, like what areas always show the worst conditions that grass will not survive. That's going to be your primary areas. And those corner areas are really great for that because yes, they get the most salt, they get the most abuse. There's the most foot traffic around them that they just don't grow grass. So that will be a really good area for paver. So it's kind of a win-win, a little less maintenance, looks better for the long run on the grass. And you get to really highlight that node that is the core of the district at that corner.
Absolutely. That's great. And can you just say again when exactly the money was received to begin this project? 'Cause I know
Yep.
it's
So
been some time in
I believe it was
even preceding
2020
this.
was the bond. So that actually is another item that's on your agenda tonight.
Yeah.
So as part of the process too, since now we have a plan ready to move forward with the council's blessing, that we do have a resolution tonight for actually moving that money, the finalizing it. Because it's already been, the bond commission has already moved the money, earmarked it for that. So I think the main point is, yes, that resolution is required for them to finalize it.
Well, thank you for helping us make this a priority and for moving it forward for so long. So thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Page.
Thanks, Mayor. Thank you both for all your work on this. And thank you for listening to the stakeholders and the business owners and their concerns. We need our business. Business is vital and we appreciate our businesses and all the great food and other things that we enjoy in that area. It's wonderful. Can you just say more about I saw in the documents, a couple of different names referenced. Historically, the name of that area is what?
Elm Hill, I believe.
The Elm Hill neighborhood. So, and I saw on one document, it looked like New Britain District, and then Elm Hill District was on another document. It seems to me historically, it would be the Elm Hill District, right?
Elm Hill was what that part of Newington was called, from old mapping and things of that nature, which is why that Elm Hill School was called that.
Right.
Our stakeholders feel that they would much rather portray a more current image, which is what, go back to the front page, what do we call this? New Britain, it's a mouthful, hold on a minute. The New Britain Avenue Business District Streetscape Improvement Project is to reflect their desire for what they like this called.
Okay.
And who am I to say otherwise?
No, if the businesses want that, that's fine. To my way of thinking, to start off by calling it the New Britain something makes me think New Britain, not Elm Hill, which is our traditional name. But I would defer to the businesses and respect. If that's what they like to be called, then God bless them, enjoy. In terms of the aesthetics, that I hear that and I see that. But in terms of, and a lot of work has been done already for bicycle and pedestrian safety. Is this adding anything to the existing work and infrastructure for pedestrian and bicycle safety? Did you say that and did I miss it? Or is it primarily aesthetics?
So we didn't take a complete streets approach to this primarily because it's not our road. So to add bike lanes to it would be a DOT function.
A whole nother project.
Right, it's not under my control, so I can't do that. That doesn't mean that they won't do that when they come along next with their, complete streets vision and update New Britain Avenue. But what we are seriously considering is we don't like the way the crosswalks work now. We mentioned that briefly earlier, but that's something we put a lot of thought into, which is why in this particular plan, you can see to the west where we've added crosswalks a little outside of the center of the district, but it moves the pedestrians and also accommodates pedestrians from the residential areas to the west in a different manner. That diagonal crosswalk is, it's acceptable if that's all you've got. But if we're going to put this kind of effort, this kind of money into this, we can do better. And that's what we're trying to do by these other two legs. I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen. They can't see that. But this is the closest we're going to get as far as improving pedestrian movement within the road.
Okay.
The pavers and the crosswalks and things like that will help them in the sidewalk areas. But the bike lanes will have to wait for the DOT.
And with the lights that are proposed too, that's something that we also heard from the stakeholders is there is the need for more light in that area. There are some areas that are relatively well lit. There are some areas that are not as well lit. by putting those lights along New Britain Avenue, it will provide more lighting for pedestrians, more visibility. You know, it's a, you know, you have that, they're not Cobra head overhead street lighting, that's just blaring light right down on the road. It should actually provide, you know, additional pedestrian lighting. So that's kind of the key there. And there really is, there's kind of a limited right of way when you think of it in the New Britain Ave district area. And a lot of the businesses are really close to the road. Again, that's a historic pattern of development. That's what makes those little business districts unique compared to, you know, a large commercial, you know, hate to pick on it, compared to the Berlin Turnpike, which is very, very different. This is the complete opposite of the Berlin Turnpike when it comes to how something was developed.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Counselor Menke.
Just to recap, the goal is to make this look a little like the Market Square. So the same kind of bricks, the same kind of lights, the same kind of treatment. So it'll look all blend in.
Yeah, better bricks though.
Better.
Better bricks. Thicker bricks.
Thicker bricks that will.
Less maintenance intensive.
Well, less
Yes.
replacement.
Yes.
And I guess I can see the issue with trees. They are hard to grow when they're right next to a road and for the business. Have you thought about planters? Even with planters with shrubs that wouldn't be so tall, but they would be still decorative and something growing there, which would probably be easier to keep alive than a tree would be, or less chances of them blocking signage.
Yeah, so planters really haven't come up yet. That's something we can definitely look into. I think with planters, you always get the who maintains it. Because when you have a street tree, it kind of just exists and you have some pruning. When you have planters, you know, I think with planters, that would be a discussion in the town and with the business owners saying, okay, who's really taking ownership of this? And the town has done that in the past. So I think
Maintains the planters in the center of town.
The town does.
Well, I think there's be
Added to the lines.
add just the list of planters to maintain it. Just
Yeah.
if
I think that'd be a good discussion to have with
we're-
parks and with the owners of it too, saying who would want a planter in front of their business? Because most of them are gonna end up on that corner of private property to public area. But no, that's definitely something we can definitely look into.
Thanks.
Thank you, Counselor. Deputy Mayor Rada.
Two questions. One was just kind of answered, and that was trees aside, other conversations that you've had about landscaping in this area. Besides planters, besides trees, any suggestions that businesses and local residents have had or that you've considered?
So no one's really come forward with too many suggestions yet. There's the one area that I kind of put on the screen here, and I'll kind of circle around where the sign goes, where there's an opportunity there to do something. Again, that'll be around that welcoming business district sign. So it could have some good landscaping in there as well. And again, we would just be working with property owner right in front of it to make sure that that works for them.
Pull the image over a little bit. The inset is right on top.
Oh. Well, it won't let me.
I won't let you do that?
No, not in PowerPoint.
But hugging that corner, right?
The corner.
Yeah.
Where the inset was.
Yep.
Just about there.
And now it's got mad at me because I tried. There we go.
There we go.
Actually, that might show it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's this area right here, which has an opportunity. It's, you know, grassed area right now. There are some utilities in there that we'd have to watch out for a little bit. But again, low growing plants, it is on a corner, so we don't want to obstruct visibility. So there's all those thoughts about how traffic moves, but I think there's a good opportunity to landscape in there.
We understand Nick from Elm Hill likes his landscaping, so he would probably be willing to maintain it, which means that's something we could do with that.
And, you know, the thought also, if the funds are available, of having a gazebo or a seating area in the back also makes it even more welcoming and a kind of a destination. You're not going to run into any of the shops, grab something and then take it home. You could just sit there and really enjoy that space.
It's our vision to try and accomplish that, because that really makes that space behind the firehouse, which is underutilized, something more of a community focal point. The gazebo with a picnic table or something in it would go a long way towards, you know, both. That is traditionally, as I understand it, a training academy. So when they're there on the weekends doing their their fire cadet program and whatnot, and they get lunch at Elm Hill and eat it there. As well as during the week, people who come to Giovanni's to get lunch and whatnot. This gives them a place to actually enjoy the neighborhood.
Or take your sandwich from Public Market across the street.
Sorry, Dave.
No,
Yep.
no, only because I've been there recently and eaten. But I mean, it almost, maybe it's too much to consider, but almost a pocket park, a tiny space.
Sure.
That would have some greenery that would be welcoming. The other question I had is, yes, we're looking at the commercial district, but very close by there's the residential areas at kind of all angles. And when you were talking to stakeholders, did any of the residents in that area come forward? Did they have any comments, any suggestions, any thoughts about this?
Have you had any calls?
No,
Me either.
no, and I think that will be most of it. Again, part of the consideration too was looking at the lighting locations to make sure we weren't porting them right next to a resident,
Right.
residents in front of them, because that is a concern for people's quality of life. Any more light into your bedrooms than you already have now just requires you either to black it out completely or live with it. And that's not something we want to put someone in the position to. So really the imposition is trying to keep it business centric in that one and not blending it too much into the neighborhoods. Now, that's something in the future. Again, this is that first step of investment in the district. You have the neighborhoods down there, you have the park. That's why that other crosswalk we were looking at too is a great connection to the park. That's kind of how we're considering how everyone kind of lives in that area and enjoys it.
I'm sorry, I'll get on my first phone call will come with the shovel on the ground.
What?
My guess is my first phone call will come when the shovel hits the ground.
Yeah, but that is a good idea to actually, again, before something happens in the area, to do that reach out as well.
I mean, it's definitely an improvement. I'm looking forward to seeing, how it all fits out, and I'm sure that hope that folks in the area would see that as well, and maybe even become more engaged with the businesses and that particular area. So thank you very much for all of this and really moving this along so that we are beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel. Thanks so much.
Counselor Nagel.
Thank you, and thank you for coming here with this presentation. I believe at the last meeting, I had asked about it, was at the area, and you said that night. So I'm happy to see that you're here that quickly after I answered my question, and appreciate the perseverance, for lack of a better word, of even though things started in 2020, that indeed it was not dropped and was not lost and has come to this project that is here right now. The plan itself, does it take into account businesses possibly renovating or new business come in? Did it take into account any of those kinds of things, or restorations where indeed structures might change somewhat or not?
We have one of our stakeholders present tonight who has a vested interest in answering your question. So I'm gonna leave it to him because it's still private, so to speak.
Okay, so at a later time is what
No,
you're saying, or later whenever
Public comment
appropriate?
section.
Right
after.
And mention of flower boxes or planters, if they are of a certain kind, concrete or whatever, they could also serve, depending upon where they are, as safety barriers and ways to direct traffic in and out of businesses. So there isn't the I can go this way, I can go that way, and there isn't structure to how to maneuver in the areas. Is there any thought in terms of, I know the neighborhood isn't going to like this expansion of small businesses in the area, or is that something completely out of the province of this particular project?
It's pretty much out of the scope of this work, just because this is a streetscape improvement program. Anything else on your mind, we can certainly entertain for future projects.
Yeah, and I can kind of speak to kind of like the opportunity for expansion within the district. I kind of brought back up the aerial it is pretty well defined by residential on its borders. So without a change to zoning, without a property owner actually saying, I want to have more commercial land on New Britain Avenue and going through the complete public process that goes with that anything that would change on that would have to pretty much go through a process to do. But you can see it's pretty well contained. The district has filled out its limits, and then you have the residences on the sides behind, and then you have the church property to the east, where it's kind of pretty well all developed in the area.
No, that's why I hesitated even bringing it up, but indeed it is a
Yeah.
question to ask. Thank you very much for all you've done and presenting this to us this evening.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Menke.
Just a quick question. Counselor Rada brought this up and I just wanted clarification. Can you, and this way on this slide, can you show where the gazebo is going to go?
So it would have been if a potential gazebo right here behind Company 5.
And this is on town property or fire department property?
It's town property that is fire company 5.
So it's, okay, under the control of the fire department though, right?
Yep.
I'm not clear on the jurisdictions of whose ownership it is. We have had discussions with the fire chief and he's on board with the project.
Yep. Yeah, we've actually met on site, discussed the area, looked at everything that was around, and just because the budget couldn't expand to that level of what we have right now.
So it's not part of the project now?
Not part of this project, but it is something that we look forward to in this area again, because it's that connection to the district. It's even talking to the fire department about the opportunity, since the building isn't used at all times, that potential sharing of parking within the district. So if you have an event, it's something where there are some limited parking. If you look at kind of the businesses, it's basically in the front. You have limited areas.
Yeah.
That would provide additional, like if you have an event, where are people going to park? You have an opportunity in Company 5. And again, we have talked to the fire department and they're willing to work with the community, happy to work with the community in how we can kind of enhance this district.
Thanks.
And it does tie in a little bit with what Tony's going to discuss with you when he comes up for public comment.
Well, I want to thank you guys for being here. I don't know that 2 weeks have gone by since I've been mayor that I didn't ask about this. So I asked you, and I know that, and I really appreciate the effort you guys put into working with the businesses in the area and the stakeholders. If everyone's not on board, it's not a good plan. So I really appreciate the effort you guys went to do that. Psyched to see it here tonight and looking forward to seeing the next step. So appreciate your efforts getting here tonight, and thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
All right, moving right along. Next on the agenda is public participation. If you're in the room and would like to speak in public participation, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. You have 4 minutes. If you are on Zoom, use the raise hand function. We'll alternate between in the room and over Zoom.
Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive. I was glad to see this presentation tonight. I'm sure that Paul and the town planner and the town engineer, Craig, are amazed that I haven't written them or called them or something about this, but this is on a bucket list of mine. I made a career after retiring of going to the town council meetings, and before that I was going to building committee meetings and such, and there's a couple of projects out there that haven't been addressed, and nobody's fault. I don't believe it's anyone's fault other than the fact between COVID and change in personnel. And I'm glad to see that Paul and Greg are doing what they're doing. I'm a little bit confused, and it's probably a question for town manager, the town planner, the town engineer, and probably even the town clerk as to how these projects get put together. I've been to some, Constance Lee, for instance. There was the town engineer and the town planner, I believe. And then I think Gail, you got involved and Carol got involved. I know there's certain things in the charter that require a building committee or whatever. Let's get done what needs to get done, but going forward, maybe do something more structured as to what is just up to the town planner and the town engineer. I believe in the stakeholders getting what they think that they need for their area. They know what they need for their businesses. Bringing up, I think Councilor Rada brought up the residents. Sometimes the residents were at these meetings, sometimes they weren't. I remember months of going through Market Square, streetscape, and the municipal parking lot, and what they were gonna do and what they weren't gonna do. And it ended up, I think that they had to move a fire hydrant because someone didn't take into consideration that the fire hydrant was where it shouldn't be. They pulled out trees, and you chuckle about the trees, but they took out the trees because they were hitting the wires. And the trees that they put in were trees that were gonna grow just as high as the ones that they took out. And I was told that by a member of the committee. I said, then why didn't you say something? So this planning is all great, and I can't say enough about the planner and the engineer and what they are doing, because finally something is getting done. Stoddard Avenue, that's another thing that's been on there. And again, I'm gonna say it in public. I wouldn't say it behind anybody's back, that I wouldn't say right to their faces. I wrote to the Department of Transportation about an informational meeting that I went to about the sidewalks from by the transfer station up to Lewis Street. And the answer that came back to me was, we got nothing because we hadn't done anything with what we already had. So it's time to get it done, go forward, make it look as nice as we can. And as far as the naming, I'm glad you brought that up, Councilor Page, because I noticed in the capital improvements, it's called the New Britain Avenue Business District. And then in some of the plans, it's called Elm Hill. Elm Hill School isn't even Elm Hill School anymore. It's Christian, Emmanuel Christian. It used to be the Center District and things like that. Let's get with the times and bring it into modern times and bring it into what it should be looking like, because it really needs some work around there. Thank you.
Thanks, Rose.
Good evening.
Good evening.
For the record, Tony Margiot, owner of Giovanni's Bakery, and also property owner of 456 New Britain Avenue. Just want to express my strong support for the Britain Avenue Business District Streetscape Improvement Project. I do like the New Britain Avenue title. I think it's location-based. I know people know where it is. I tell people Elm Hill, it's a little bit not clear where the location is. So I like it because of location-based. So these proposed improvements, again, I'm here to support it. It will make the corridor walkable, more attractive for residents and visitors, and in turn will strengthen the local businesses, the investments, create additional jobs and tax revenues. This project does give me confidence to continue investing in this town. I do have plans to further build out. I won't go into too much detail here today, but with this investment by the town, it certainly gives me confidence to continue investing in this community. I do want to thank the town staff, Chris and Paul, been phenomenal, very collaborative, incorporate our comments. So very, very happy for that. And that's it. I'm just very happy that the town is investing in this district.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony.
Appreciate it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, we
Thank
can
you.
go back. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, this is a seat here.
Good evening, Mayor Twister, Town Council, Town Manager also. My name is Stanley Sobieski. I reside at 26 Deepwood Drive, Newington. I'm speaking in favor of this business district. There's been a lot of work put into it, both by the town engineer, by the planner, and their staff. This town is blessed to have a very excellent staff, planner, and town engineer. This here is a long time coming. Unfortunately, what happened is the grant has been sitting around for 5 years. Costs have escalated, the grant does not. So my suggestion to this town council and future town councils, when you get a grant, try to put it in motion as soon as possible. Because it's grants are, if you got a $500,000 grant, it stays there. It doesn't you don't get interest on these things. So that was the only thing. Again, the planner and the town engineer did an excellent job. Councilman Page and Councilman Nagel, congratulations on your retirement. Unfortunately, I hate to see you go. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stan.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Dave Lenaris, 2 Birch Street. One of the owners at Public Market. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this great proposal. I can't thank you guys enough. We've never had any attention in our area on our little business nook, as we call it. We're so excited to get some attention and get some money and improve the neighborhood. You guys heard the presentation. Paul and Chris, excellent job in listening to all of us and our wants and needs and hopes for this area. We've met extensively for years. So I'm so thankful to be here tonight in front of you guys. We've met with the mayor. He sat in on a couple meetings, the town manager. They've all been great with us along the way and trying to get us a product that at the end, like we all talk about, everyone is, in approval of. I'm just going to touch on a few things that you guys all had said and try to answer some questions instead of saying how thrilled I am. I did say that, right? How thrilled I am. Thanks.
Couple times.
To Gail's point, we talked about how many businesses were in that area. I kind of went through some numbers. There's about 18 to 20. The only vacancy in that area is Esquire Cleaners. The strip malls are all full. They come in and out every so often, and one currently might be under construction for a new one, but pretty much they're full. And if you've noticed in that area, you guys had used the term like the anchor stores. We've been there a long, long time. Blessed to be in this community. We are in the greatest community in the state. No one wants to move. And if you look at some of those bigger properties, we've been there a long, long time. And we're so very fortunate to be supported by this community because we're all little small businesses there. What we have there now, I kept telling Paul and Chris, and I'm sure they're sick of me saying this, I'm like, don't change the scope of this little neighborhood. Don't start putting in all these little islands and curb cuts where it's going to be hard for a tractor trailer to come in and out of. What we have works. We just wanted to make it better. And I did say we're so thrilled about the attention, right? We're excited for your support. I don't know if you guys are in that area at all, live near that area. We're excited about the name. We talked about the long time recognition of the Elm Hill School, but that's so long ago. And if everyone says like, hey, Elm Hill Business District, no one's in town's going to know where that is, but all these businesses that are being affected are all on New Britain Avenue. And we're proud of that. We want to keep that name in there. The safety at night is really cool. It's not dark there by any means. It's pretty good. It's pretty well lit. But these poles that we're going to put in is going to make it beautiful. Like if you guys have ever been on Constance Lee, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of people walking their dogs at night over there. In this area, we see traffic up and down on these sidewalks, and we're fortunate to have these people feel comfortable walking in the neighborhood. So I think the light poles are going to be great. I had expressed interest in the light poles to have plugs in them. So during the holidays, like they do in the center, they hang these beautiful things. If you've ever been down there, it's like, I don't know why, but I've never really driven down there too much until this year, but it's absolutely gorgeous that they hang these things. It's well lit. They got spots for flags and the appropriate and respected holidays. I think it'll be a great, great addition. Let me think here. Councilor Rada, you asked about the residents in the area. I think there's only one real big residence dropped right in the middle of this thing, and that's the guy who owns the Sunoco. Now, he might not always own the Sunoco, so we have to be cognizant of that. But all these light poles, we talked about, like, so they're not jamming into people's yards or even businesses, that they flood down and kind of support the sidewalk so it's comfortable and well lit. My final thought is, if any counselors have any questions, not just for staff, but even business owners in the area, you can always contact me. I'm David from Public Market. You know where to reach me, and anything we can do to help move this project along and have your support, we'd be indebted. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, always save the best for last. Mayor, council members,
Town Manager, I want to thank you for this opportunity to address you all. And pardon my back to the audience. The reason why I'm here.
Can I have you state your name and address for the record? Sorry. No problem.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Grant Palumsky. I live at 32 Taft Avenue. I'm the owner of the property, me and my wife. The reason why I'm here is to talk about, I met with the town manager before the meeting, and he explained a couple things to me. And I was here about next year, I'm the graduate of Newington High School, class of 1976. And we're having a 50th class reunion next year. And it's gonna be over at the Indian Hill Country Club, Casamia on the Hill. Okay, they're a local business. And we want to support our local town businesses. Now, the question I have is the date that I have scheduled for the dinner, 50th class reunion dinner, will be May 23rd, 2026. And that's the day that they have the parade here in town for Memorial Day. So what I want to do is invite the classmates to participate in the parade. Okay, we had a graduation of about 465. One of the largest graduating classes that Newington ever had. And I hate to say I'm assuming, but I think there's going to be maybe 50 students that may want to participate in the parade. Now, I've talked to Lewis. I can't really think of his last name right now.
Hilario, right?
That's in charge of the parade. I talked to him. I emailed him about, we have some classmates that may have disabilities walking. And I'm concerned about if they could take their personal vehicles in there. And he wrote back to me and said, how many vehicles? And off the top of my head, I said 10. Okay, but he never got back to me and approved that. Now, in the past, I've seen that the Senior and Disabled Center have their buses in the parade. And what they do is they, I think it was just to show what Newington offers for the seniors. Now, I'm asking if it's possible, Mr. Town Manager, if it's possible, somebody could contact Jamie over there and let us use the school, disabled buses, senior and disabled buses, to let the people ride in them. Okay, we're all gonna be over 65 years old, right? 68, 69 years old. So if you could please think of the class of 1976 and those people that do have disabilities walking, if they could ride in the bus. And I already contacted the gentleman over at the school transportation department, and he said that they don't rent buses. And I said, I understand that, but I figured, I've seen the last parade, and behind the marching band, they had the school bus. So I figured, well, maybe I could get a chance, school, But I want to thank, but by the way, I want to thank James. He helped me out a lot. I had a political question to ask him about petitioning candidate, and he answered that for me. And I want to thank the girl that was in the town manager's office. She told me about this meeting. And thank you for inviting, or let me come to this meeting. And please, I'll get back to you when the time comes. And please think of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was it.
Appreciate it.
And this
Thank
is
you.
all real.
It's awesome. It's awesome. The record statement that it's Marcy.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else in the room or over Zoom that would like to speak in public participation? Seeing none, we didn't have any email correspondence, I don't believe.
No.
All right. Excellent. Move right along to remarks by counselors on public participation. Counselor Page.
Thank you, Mayor. Just two comments. One is my mild frustration tonight, because seeing Mr. Lenars and the gentleman, Tony from Giovanni's, all I can think about is chicken parm and Italian pastries. Really, I've been sort of like.
Should have bought samples.
Next time you bring some food.
I literally, that's where my mind's been going. And also just very proud of your 3 letters, not 1, not 2, but 3 letters. So I just want to compliment you on that. Yeah, fantastic.
Basketball, soccer.
Right on, man. And also just wanted to, my last comment is to thank the mayor under his leadership. As Mr. Sobieski said earlier, just moving the grants forward and working with our stakeholders and making it happen. Don't let them sit on a desk somewhere and gather dust and lose value, being chewed up by inflation. And so thank you for your leadership under that, Mayor. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Counselor Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. Likewise, I have to say, I'm like kind of a fangirl seeing Dave and Tony here. Like, these are institutional businesses in our community, truly. And it's not just you folks, it's Elm Hill Pizza, it's a sushi restaurant, it's been there for some time. You know, you folks have weathered a lot, and as you rightfully point out, have faced disinvestment and have excelled despite those barriers. And so I just want to thank you and Tony, if he's listening, and everybody in that area, all the businesses, for building something so vital to our community despite a range of challenges. And I'm glad that we can do a small part to support the work that you've already done in that district. And Grant, thank you for coming too, and congratulations on 50 years. And certainly, if there are ways that we can be supportive as a council to make sure that folks coming back to Newington and celebrating that awesome occasion, do it in an accessible way, I'm sure we'll be excited to support in any way we can. Absolutely.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Draco.
Yeah, I'm very happy to have heard from the two business owners regarding their enthusiasm for this project. Because oftentimes you just don't get that, but they sound very invested in it, excited about it, and I'm sure they're going to be willing to work to make it a success once the town does their part to make that. I don't know, you've talked about pocket parks. This will be like a pocket town center. And I like the fact that, first of all, the Giovanni Bakery, Tony, he said it really made him think that he wants to stay here and maybe invest more in the community. And I like public market. I like the fact that you recognize that the scope is important. We don't need to recreate Blue Black Square. We don't need to recreate even the town center. That's work with the scope. And as we were talking, whatever, there are neighborhoods there. I can see people using the sidewalks to maybe come there at night for, pizza or Italian ice or get something from public market. So I think the two of you do seem to be like leaders and vested in making this vision come true. So I'm really excited to see that. Thank you. And get Mr. Polomsky, I would certainly hope that we can work. Maybe, you can commit to talking to, if it's not Jamie, then a bus, because I think some of my family lives in Virginia and they have like homecoming parades. They have, alumni parades, and I can just see a nice little bus of people celebrating their 50th with a nice little, banner and, some pom-poms or whatever. I just think that would be great. And the fact is, it's on the same day. So the people will be here who are going to be here. And if we can make it work, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I just add, if you could just send me gave you my business card, just send me an email tomorrow so I have your contact.
Yes, I got your card. The other thing is, Karen Helper, who was over at the Senior Center. She graduated with us. And we're gonna do something at Indian Hill to honor all that we lost. I've been 465, we lost 48. I put a total about a month, put a total on. And Karen was part of that.
Appreciate it. Thank
So we're gonna do a little celebration over at the,
It's unfortunately, it's not a back and forth. They're in a public space
Okay.
at this point. I
Thank you for
apologize
doing
for you,
that.
but thank you. You're absolutely, to your point, you're talking to the right people. You got the town manager information. We're gonna make this figure out. I was actually thinking as we discussed this, I wonder if there's a way we could incorporate something with America 250, because you guys you graduated high school the year of the bicentennial, coming back
There you
250. We got a lot of stuff going on, so I think there's
250
definitely.
years celebration.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Indeed. Thank you. I also want to thank the stakeholders and the folks from the New Britain Avenue Business District for coming out tonight. I really appreciate hearing your insight and hearing about how we can better that area. We've all been out, knocking doors recently, and I actually found myself right in that corner in the intersection pretty recently, and it's vibrant. I mean, you're so busy. There's cars going in and out of all the businesses. There's so much going on over there. I love what you said, Gail, pocket town center. I think it's like a perfect way to look at it, and I can't wait till we beautify it and make it look great for you guys.
That's right.
All right. We'll move along. Next, we move on to old business. First item is work session on discontinuance and sale of Budney Road stub. Item B is discontinuance and sale of Budney Road stub.
Yeah, I just, the
Let's do a work
policy,
session.
the policy on disposal of small parcels basically says you have to have a work session. So I think we just read that to mean this as item 7A, you kind of discuss any comments that you have so that you can adopt the motion or not under 7B.
Very good. Any comments or questions from council? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item B, the discontinuance and sale of Budney Road stub. Councilor Page, would you please read the resolution?
Yes, Mayor. Resolved that the Newington Town Council hereby approves the discontinuance of the future street between 36 and 50 Budney Road, and be it further resolved that the Newington Town Council approves the sale of approximately 5,886 square feet of the approximately 0.27 acre parcel denoted in the attached plan signed by the town engineer Chris Zibidio, PE, and dated October 8, 2025, to the owner of 36 Budney Road in the amount of $22,365 per the August 8, 2025 letter from Galvin Appraisal Services LLC to Eric Hinckley, Assistant Town Planner, and be it further resolved that the Newington Town Council approves the sale of approximately 5,951 square feet of the approximately 0.27 acre parcel denoted in the attached plan signed by town engineer Chris Zibidio, I can't pronounce, I'm sorry, Chris, PE, and dated October 8, 2025, to the owner of 50 Budney Road in the amount of $22,615 per the August 8, 2025 letter from Galvin Appraisal Services LLC to Eric Hinckley, Assistant Town Planner, and be it further resolved that the Newington Town Council authorizes Jonathan Altschul, Town Manager, to execute agreements with the owners of 36 and 50 Budney Road to close on the sale.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Page, second by Councilor Floyd. Any discussion on this? Councilor Mankey.
I would just thank the two gentlemen for putting up with this long, arduous process. And even tonight for being here at 6:30 and then having to wait outside until this point. So just thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. Not just as Councilor Mankey said, I thank you for tonight, but, and it's been said in the previous meeting, thank you for maintaining this parcel for as long as you have and taking care of it for us. And you will do a much better job, I'm sure, taking care of it moving forward now that you own it. So thank you.
Any other comments or discussion from council? All right, seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed or abstained? Seeing none, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, Councilor Draco.
Yeah, not on, I was waiting till it was passed. I don't know how to go about requesting this, but we did this once in the past. When the town sold property, I believe it was on Fen Road, that was we weren't getting taxes on it, whatever. I think we got $60,000 for something. We decided to put that into the land acquisition fund because that fund has been seriously underfunded for many years. And it was just, about 8 years ago that we started putting money in it. As Paul knows, when we go to look, to apply for grants, whatever, the town has to show that we're serious about acquiring
Open space.
land, whether it be on Cedar Mountain or wherever. And since this 22,000 is not a gift, but I mean, it's something we didn't expect. It's not a lot of, it's not gonna make big differences in the general fund, but I think if we could possibly think about putting it into the land acquisition fund.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me talk to Janet about just on timing of that, if we do that as like a mid-year thing. But certainly I don't see why not. The council couldn't adopt a resolution.
Yeah,
something.
so that seems like a good
It's a
policy.
good
I think.
idea.
It's a good
More to
policy.
come on that,
idea.
for sure.
Could we put that on the agenda for our next meeting then?
Yeah, I think the only concern would just be Janet might balk at doing a transfer. I just want to clear it with the boss, just make sure that, she might
Never do
bug
without
me
the boss
now
approval.
rather than
It was
January.
done before, and I don't know whether she was the finance officer, but it
I
was
believe
done
she was.
before.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So whether it has to go into the general fund first and then a transfer or
Right.
whatever, but it's a small sign, but I think it's.
Absolutely.
No, that makes sense. Good, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Counselor. All right, moving on to item C, policy agreement with Board of Education for unexpended education funds. I know we haven't met for a long time, but I still remember what this is about. So I will ask Counselor Floyd to please read the resolution.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Sorry for the delay.
Good night.
Resolved that the town council authorizes Jonathan Altschul, town manager, to execute the policy agreement with the Newington Board of Education regarding unexpended education funds.
Second.
Which one? No, I think you guys skipped too far ahead.
Oh.
Yep. Did we?
No, that was right. That was right. That was right.
Oh, never
That
mind.
was right.
Sorry.
There's the agreement, but we don't have to read it into the record.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I skipped too far ahead. All right, very good. We have a motion, Counselor Floyd. Who was the second by? Seconded by Deputy Mayor Rada. Any further discussion on this point? Counselor Draco.
I'm sorry, I just, maybe it's the way I'm reading it, but maybe you can just explain, in the first paragraph, it says, as you know, the town entered into an MOU 9 years ago that capped the amount the council can transfer into a non-lapsing fund at 1% of the previous year's budget. And then the last paragraph says that for the 2024-2025 fiscal year, the Board of Ed transferred, 1 million, whatever, which is 1.73% of the adopted budget.
Yeah, we have Lynn Bover on, Scott, can you elevate Lynn from attendee to a panelist? So she can specifically answer that. I'd just be flailing at that guess. But I think that consists of the additional pot of money of another $800,000 that was included in that allocation. But Lynn can more competently address that. Lynn, are you? Yeah, just unmute yourself, Lynn. Lynn, can you hear us? Can you unmute? Lynn.
Yeah, it looks like she's muted. It looks like she did.
Her mic isn't working.
Oh.
She is. Nope, she.
So, I mean, I'll say this, I'll attempt to answer the question and I'm going to butcher it. But there was additional funding this year that yeah, I'm going to butcher this explanation, so I can't. And if you want to hold off on this until the next meeting so that we can have a member of the Board of Education sort of lay that out,
Yeah, I hate to delay anything, but it just seems if we're authorized, or if the agreement was 1%, but then they're saying
Yeah.
now 1.73, that's a significant
Yeah.
overage.
Again, I could try to answer it, but I would get it wrong. So I don't feel comfortable, like, just specifically, other than to say that, other than say that I'm gonna have to defer, and we'll just put it on the agenda for next time.
You want to try to check in with Lynn one more time? Lynn, can you hear us?
She's.
Yeah.
Muted,
Okay.
then was muted. Yeah.
Maybe there's a tech issue. Okay. So Councilor Draco, did you say you'd like to hold this for another?
I just
Sure.
think, you know, because it's
I
a
understand.
significant amount,
Yeah.
and if there's no urgency to do it tonight, I'd prefer to know why. I'm sure it's all, you know, okay, but I'd feel more comfortable knowing what.
No, absolutely. No, we'll, so, yeah, we'll
Yeah,
just.
that's
I'd like an answer.
So I will. So now, yeah, we just
Yeah.
about to table
I
it.
will rescind my motion.
All right, very good.
Rescind my second.
There you go.
I guess that's just as easy.
Deal's done. All right, so this will stay on the agenda till the next meeting. All right, we'll move on to item D then. That's the one I was looking at before. Deputy Mayor Rada, would you please read that resolution?
Yes. Resolved that the Newington Town Council authorizes Jonathan Altshill, Town Manager, to execute the agreement regarding annual open choice special education reimbursements revised on September 3rd, 2025 with the Board of Education.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Rada, second by Councilor Gonzalez. Any discussion on this? Councilor Nagel?
Yeah, just a brief thing to make certain we're all clear. This particular resolution, no way is affected by what previously we decided to table, just to make it clear and open, because some people may get confused. I know last time this whole explanation of how things are handled or not handled became rather confusing for a number of people. And I thought to make that point is important.
Councilor Mankey?
And I would just would point out, just for the general public, if anybody's watching, that this is a 1-year MOU, which I kind of like these 1-year MOUs.
right.
That they don't just get in place and then they just continuing. So I like the idea that it's a 1 year.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other discussion from council? All right, seeing none. Motion by Deputy Mayor Rada, seconded by Councilor Gonzalez. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstain? All right, motion carries unanimously. Moving right along, in our agenda, next we have item 8, tax refunds. Councilor Gonzalez, could you please read that resolution?
Sure. Resolved that property tax refunds in the amount of $21,538.37 are hereby approved in the individual amounts and for those named on the request for refund of an overpayment of taxes certified by the revenue collector, a list of which is attached to this resolution.
Second.
By Councilor Gonzalez, seconded by Deputy Mayor Rada. Any discussion on these? Councilor Floyd?
Just a quick question. Thank you, Mayor. No problem with any of them, of course, but just out of curiosity, why so many at once? This is, usually it's far fewer at one given time. Do we know why? Could it just have been they built up or something? But
I don't know the answer to that question. Yeah.
If I were taking an educated guess, I would think because they're motor vehicles.
sure, that's what it looked like. Yeah. Okay. So about time of the year.
But why this?
Well, it's October, people's
Yeah.
registration.
They've gone through like, yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That's my educated guess.
Okay. Thank you.
But it's only in a guess.
Sure, we'll check. All right, Councilor Nagel?
That was my question as well.
Oh, okay, very good. All right. We had a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstained? All right, motion carries unanimously. Next, we have Minutes from previous meetings. We're looking to approve the meetings from the minutes from the special meeting on September 9th and the regular meeting from September 9th. Any issues with the minutes?
I do. They're all
All right.
minor.
Counselor Nagel?
If I can find the sheet. Watch, I won't find the copy that I had everything marked on. Well, I'll leave it at this. I know at one point, town manager was DA was left out, so it sounded like town manger. There were a few instances where, certain words were like this should have been replaced with that kind of thing, but nothing else, major. It took a long amount of time looking through this, but they're all minor kind of things, nothing that would
The material.
change anyone's
Alter the course of
opinion. Yeah. I know last time Councilor Gonzalez picked out some too. I was wondering if she found them as well. Okay, so I'll just pass and not look at them so we can save some time.
Very good, very good. Councilor Draco?
Yeah, this is just minor, but just whatever. On the the bottom of page 2, I was talking about traffic on Hawley Street. It's Hawley, not Holy Street.
Sorry, I don't even know that. Okay, thank you.
All right.
But I mean, you could make the motion subject to the edits
Yeah. Yeah, so
provided by
super
Counselor
radical
Nagel.
fixes,
And then Dave, at your convenience, if you can get to me, and then I'll send to Susan, those edits.
It was here, but.
I would entertain a motion to approve both meeting minutes, inclusive of grammatical fixes that are uncovered. Make Mike the motion. So moved.
Oh, so, yeah.
All right. Yeah. Motion, Councilor Tiniaka, seconded by Councilor Floyd. Any further discussion on approval of those minutes with the changes? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstained? All right, motion carries unanimously. Next, we have various appointments. Do we have any?
No.
No appointments. All right. That concludes that. So we move on to consideration of new business. We have a couple of different new business items. First is item A is job classification, job description for planning technician and amendment to administrative group job classification plans.
Yeah, so as you know, in the current year budget, council approved 6-month funding for a new planning technician. And Paul's here to talk about any sort of specific details, but basically to assist Eric and Paul with their overload of work. And so, which would help to that point about, for example, the New Britain Avenue Streetscape project and Ms. Lyons' concern about staying on top of grant applications. Obviously between 830Gs and all the surprise filings that Paul gets, anytime he gets focused on one thing, his attention gets diverted somewhere else. So this would help make sure that the planning department is staying on track. Based on the other job classifications within the administrative pay group, we think this is an A5, which is consistent with that GIS tech that we brought in about 6 months ago now, who's doing a fantastic job. With somebody like that, if we could get somebody like that with a similar kind of background in planning that Monique has in GIS, I think we'd be in very good position. And so that's the high level, and Paul's here to answer any more detailed questions about the position.
Any questions from council on this item? Seeing none. Yeah, we'll dive into it, and we'll probably have some more questions about substance for the next meeting, but I think, pretty cut and dry. We appreciate you. Very good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, Paul. Hey, now you're up.
Faster we can get you this position.
Exactly, yeah. All right, next is item B, the New Britain Business District Streetscape Improvement Project Resolution. We got a little primer on what that is.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a standard, grant resolution. As I mentioned in the memo, there is a you have to acknowledge that you recognize the conditions and prerequisites for state financial assistance, and that's just boilerplate stuff about sharing information with the state, financial information with the state, making sure, confirming that you're only going to use or averring that you're only going to use the funds for the stated project purpose. Nothing really out of the ordinary there. So I don't think it's mission critical. We get this approved, by October, as Chris said. We're not even going out to RFP until whatever, or actually bid until probably February. So if this has to get pushed a month or two, it's not the end of the world, but may as well, because we just had the discuss, we may as well get it approved tonight, or we should be at the following meeting under old business.
Any questions or comments about that? No. All righty, we will move on to written oral communications from the town manager.
Yeah, I have a couple of things to bring to council's attention. The first one, as you likely are aware, but just to remind you, early voting starts in this room on Monday, the 20th. So kudos to Jenny and to Teresa for all their hard work in getting that process, underway. That does mean, as practically speaking, that for our next meeting will be held in the Helen Nelson Room on the 28th. Some exciting things I think we could be on that agenda. For one thing, Kimberly Batiste from Colliers will be back to give the final presentation about the town center study. So finally getting that thing put to bed and potentially adopted by council will be exciting. Also an opportunity to present the Teacher of the Year Award to Antoinette Serrano, I believe a third grade teacher at Elizabeth Green. And then also to acknowledge the retirement of Billy Califano, who is the longest tenured employee. He has been on the payroll since 1983. He served in various capacities. I think he started as a custodian, but he's now known as the sign guy. He's responsible for all of the town signs. So that's going to be a big loss. And actually, we're in the process of trying to backfill that position now, and hopefully found a good candidate for that. And that is all I have at the moment, I believe. Oh, no, one last thing. Sorry, one last thing. About a month ago, with Lauren did all the heavy lifting on this, developed a social media policy, which is considered a best practice for any organization, that I approved and disseminated to all staff. The policy in a nutshell, and there's sort of two main components to it. It talks about how staff is authorized and empowered to post on town social media accounts, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, what have you. And just following the process basically so that there's no rogue postings of information. I think potentially the more kind of sensitive aspect of the social media policy is about how employees are permitted to post content on their own personal social media accounts with respect to goings on in the town. So to make sure there's an assurance that employees aren't sort of editorializing on their own social media accounts about town business. And to the extent that they do that, obviously they have First Amendment protection. So you have to walk a kind of a tightrope on this, but to the extent that they do editorialize, they have to include a disclaimer on their post saying, the views are expressed are my own and do not reflect those of the town of Newington or words to that effect. So, that policy was disseminated about a month ago. I think staff has largely understood and appreciate the need for such a policy. And hopefully it'll avoid any liabilities or issues moving forward with those kind of conflicts that some organizations have wrestled with. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Jonathan. Councilor Draco.
Well, can we get a copy of?
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because I know we were actually trying to come up with one, I think, for the counselors or something at one point.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, but it'll be helpful.
Absolutely.
And then I just have a few things. I don't know, I had nothing better to do on Columbus Day, or Indigenous Peoples' Day, whatever. On the monthly report in August, I just have a question.
Okay.
I just noticed that under overtime for the highway department, under vehicles and equipment, it's almost like a quarter of the budget is already, that was approved for overtime. It's already been spent. And compared to last year, it's a significant amount also. Did something happen?
Lauren, does anything ring a bell off the top of your head? Yeah, and actually let me look into that because really the overtime you would expect, the two things to drive overtime in the highway department would be leaf season
Yeah,
and,
it's not,
and
this
and
is vehicles
plowing
and
either.
equipment.
So that would be repair of those vehicles. I don't know, but I will follow up with Rob and get you an
Yeah,
answer
'cause
in the morning. for
last
sure.
year it was $3,317. And then this is 10,204. And it's
Yeah, I'll
just-
have to follow up
okay.
with Rob to get the specific.
And then I'm just curious, you got a grant for 2 million or something, from the state for the motor vehicle property taxes. Does that make us whole now?
Oh, that's the like,
Is that the-
yeah, that's, that makes us whole the budget, you mean?
The fact that, the state was gonna reimburse us for the difference.
Yeah, I mean, that's the annual,
so
the
that was the
annual grant.
reimbursement?
Yeah.
Okay. And then.
I believe that's the full amount that we're eligible for, right?
It says $2,650,000.
I'll follow up with Danielle on Thursday, but I mean, that rings a bell as the roughly amount that we get from the state because we're capped at that.
Right, that's what I
At
figured
that,
it
at that
was.
mill rate for vehicles.
But I didn't know whether we got it in installments,
Yeah,
so that was the one.
Let me follow up with Danielle just to get confirmation.
Then I saw something in the paper, and I'm just wondering if maybe you can comment on it. I guess the Connecticut Department of Transportation is planning new traffic signals around the
Mhm, yep,
state. They
yep.
got a very big, I guess, a big grant or whatever, I don't know. But it says that this is going to allow DOT to adjust signal timings and improve traffic flow, reduce delays, and increases overall highway efficiency. And there were like about 10 towns, and Newington was one of
Yep.
them. And we have 5
Correct.
locations, but yet, I was curious because first of all, none of them were Cedar Street or Fen Road, which is where all the congestion is, but it's like Market Square and Garfield, Willard Avenue and Stoddard, First of all, I'm assuming you're aware of these, but second, how is that gonna, how do we envision that that's gonna help our traffic congestion?
In many ways, like I think, for example, and I mean, I can get Chris to talk
Yeah.
at length and Chris and Rob to talk at length about the traffic signals, but there's everything from like, one of them is, for example, at the corner of Willard, Main and Robbins, I believe.
Right.
There's it's that tricky intersection where it's hard to make that turn. That's a classic example. There's also, I
Like
believe,
Lower
the
Lower
Willard.
Place and CVS.
I'm not sure on that one specifically what the problem is, but I know another one I believe is addressing the issue at Willard and Robbins too, which
Right,
is that.
Willard and Robbins. Then there was Mountain Road and Hartford Avenue.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not aware of the big traffic issue there.
well, that would. Off the top of my head, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but certainly I can have, Chris write a long book report on the justification for all of
Yeah,
those.
I'm just curious, because again, there are 5 and they didn't seem necessarily the high volume areas that, it looks like Hawley Street and whatever, for example, would
Yeah.
be in Cedar, just how these were selected and how they feel it's
Sure.
gonna help traffic
Yep,
flow.
I'll have a response on that too.
Do you need the article?
No, I
Okay.
know familiar with it.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other questions?
Can I ask a kind of a general follow-up to Councilor Pacheco's question? When the state identifies these locations, just as a practice, routinely, do they then reach out to Eric or to Lieutenant Dean or someone to discuss what their recommendations might be? Or obviously they have. a
Yeah,
whole
I mean,
range of staff
I know that they have a working group that Lieutenant Dean and Chris are involved in.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the process for, how, intersection X gets selected as opposed to intersection Y. But certainly as part of my response for Councilor Pedrejko, I can get some information about, more information, rolling back the curtain on the process for how intersections are selected.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll move along to council liaison and committee reports. Open it up to council. Deputy Mayor Rada.
Yes, I attended the fire commissioners meeting this past Thursday. The new truck, engine 2, is almost completed in terms of the construction of it, and should be here in town in the next few weeks. It'll take quite a while because then it has to be outfitted and there's a lot more that goes into it before it's gonna go online, but we're looking forward to it. Company 4, there has been an architect that has been commissioned and work is moving ahead for company 4. Company 1, there was an issue, the floor was replaced because of all the issues with buckling, and that was done, but then there were some other concerns that they had that there needed to be some fixes done. That is completely done, and they're happy with the floor. It looks great. It's all finished. In terms of the sign for the training center down on Milk Lane, they're hoping soon, before the winter weather begins, that they will put together a schedule and come up with a date and a time for the ceremony. That's to be determined. They don't have a date yet, but that will be coming forward. That's all I have.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Counselor Nagel.
Thank you. Even though we haven't met for quite a while, there've been a lot of subcommittees that have been meeting, including Anna Reynolds and the John Watts Building Committees moving forward, slowly but surely. Also, the library board, which would meet yesterday, didn't because of the Jewish holiday. They're meeting next week. So at the next meeting, there'll be a report in regards to that. Most recently, the Senior and Disabled Center met on 10/8/25. In that meeting, they discussed their ongoing celebrations of their 40th anniversary, programs that are happening this coming month, or once again, this connection brochure is available by contacting the Senior Center if you haven't already gotten them. Most notably, this month is Fire Safety Month, and there are a couple of presentations, especially for seniors. Fire safety presentation on October 23rd between 1 and 2. There are others as well. They have ongoing coffee and conversation meetings on Fridays from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. A great many different things still going on. They hesitated for a while there, but now they're back in full swing. They have an intern from Central Connecticut State University in psychology who will be working with the seniors in terms of anything they need help with. The Senior Center is looking for volunteers for their coffee shop. They also be looking for drivers for their bus, since some are retiring. There have been, in terms of nutrition program, essentially there's been no changes. There's detailed information that was given back and forth that essentially means that they're holding their own for the moment in terms of that. They're near the end of the town putting in a security system. It's towards the very end of it. It's a system similar to the town hall, and obviously won't share details about that. That the public at large needs to know, but just to know that that building will be safer as a result of that. November 6th is a big day for seniors. It's the annual Senior Expo from 10 to 12 a.m. It's a confined time, but lots of vendors for seniors will be there on that particular day. And the building will be switching rooms, the rooms that the many committees meet in, which is just inside the side entrance, including the library board. It's changing rooms to where the gymnasium is at the present moment. The reason for the change is that they need more space to, and they've gotten more equipment to make it truly a comfortable place and one that's well ventilated. That doesn't mean the change of room for conferences is going to be less, but the room is quite large for the kinds of things that are being held there. So that's a major change that that is going to be happening. And there are lots of other things happening too that obviously this brochure will tell the public about. Anything to add, Mr.?
No, I think you got everything.
No, okay, I know, you want to get in the weeds with the nutrition program when it's spoken about.
Thank you, Counselor Nagel. Counselor Floyd.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, as Councilor Nagel said, even though we haven't met, it's been a very busy time. Councilor Bedrejko and I both attended meetings of the Zoning Commission and the Economic Development Commission. I'll start with zoning. Some updates there were that TPC approved a new housing development on Kitts Lane, about 43 units. I think I have that number right. About 12 affordable, 40 units, 12, I was close. 12 affordable, designated affordable with a range of specific conditions, a very long list of very specific conditions to accommodate concerns raised by the fire department, some safety concerns, et cetera, some maintenance concerns. So that was approved. We also received an update that Taco John's, which had been kind of delayed for a bit at Ashley Furniture on that same parcel, that they are continuing construction. Rest assured, they're still moving forward. For EDC, they are underway writing letters to businesses to welcome them, new openings, anniversaries, et cetera, here in town. Members of the commission are moving forward with those letters. They also shared a mock passport for their new passport program this year, the second year that will be happening, and outreach is happening right now to businesses across town for that to happen this fall. So expect to hear more about that. And I also just wanted to share on the economic development front that we had a lot of new business openings that members of council attended, and thank you to the chamber for putting those on, and a lot of new business announcements in town in the last month before we met. So I just want to shout out the Flash Lady Photography had a wonderful opening, Signorama, Vita Fit, and Vive Collision just this afternoon that members of council attended. And a range of announcements. I'm going to go through them because I think they deserve the recognition. Laundromat near me in the Twin City Plaza, who are also hoping to provide some support for renovations and improvements to that plaza. Zam Zam Halal Market, a reno is happening now. That's in the Ollie's Plaza. GF Fitness moving into LA Fitness. As we all know, LA Fitness was moving, but GF Fitness is coming in. All Love Candles on Market Square. That opening is actually expected to happen this month. So we'll see more about that, but that will bring some street level retail to Market Square. So that's fantastic. Market 32 grocery store at 3333. Also at the same plaza, Marketplace Restaurant and Wonder Food at the same plaza as well. Bomb Bomb Smoothie Cafe moving into Vacuum Village on the Turnpike after retirement happened there from that business owner, and we're so grateful for their long investment in our community. Amelia Soy Aromas Candle Shop is moving to New Britain Avenue. It's going to enjoy a wonderful new area in town. A Kingdom Buffet, Chinese buffet is opening on the Kitts Lane Plaza. The shop Strength and Conditioning on Walsh Avenue, Not a Phase, has received a lot of attention because of the lines out of their door on our main street. So they are clearly doing very well. Club Pilates and 100% Chiropractic at 3333 as well. And two openings on Fen Road, both moving from West Hartford to Newington, one Andrea's Tailoring and the other Top Level Salon. So we welcome them all and look forward to supporting their success in our awesome community.
Busy.
Pretty busy.
That's not sense.
Amazing. All right. Any other updates from council? All right, we will move on to public participation in the second time, for the second time. If you'd like to speak in public participation, please step at the microphone and state your name and address for the record. If you are on Zoom, please use the raise hand function. We will alternate between in the room and over Zoom. Oh, there's Lynn.
Question.
Yep,
We just
yeah,
have
we
one
have
on
one
one.
person on Zoom and then you can come right up. Yep. Hi, Lynn.
Hi, good evening.
There
I'm
you
really
are.
sorry. I had technical difficulties. I could not get my computer. I had to log on to my laptop. If you want me to still answer that question, I can, or whatever you want me to do, just let me know.
I think we tabled it until we'll get the information, I think, it's for the
Yeah,
next
we'll
meeting.
circle back
Yeah,
to the
we'll
next
circle
meeting,
back. No
Lynn. I'm
worries.
sorry about that,
Appreciate
too.
you trying for sure.
Thank you, Lynn.
I'm really sorry. I
No
had
problem.
my cat.
It happens. That's all good. Thanks.
Technical difficulties are the thing for sure.
Yeah. So thank you very much for understanding.
Yes, thank you, Lynn. Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
being here.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay, thank you again. I just have a question. What's going on with the old Food Mart property? Is something going in there? I don't mean it like.
No,
that,
it's public participation is not really back and forth. We can feel free, you just have to sit down and state your name and address for the record again, just so we can get into the minutes. You're just curious about that.
My
property.
name is Grant Palumsky. I live at 32 Taft Avenue, Newington, stone's throw from here.
Yep.
The question again is, what's going on with the old Food Mart property? I grew up in that plaza. Matter of fact, when it was a swamp, I used to go there and not swim in it, but I used to look for pollywogs, goldfish. Okay, but yeah, I mean, that's a valuable piece of property, plus Keeney's.
Mhm.
I don't know, well,
Appreciate that. Yeah.
I would like to see the center of town do something. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We need the high rise. A lot of seniors in there.
Yeah.
They need help. Okay, they used to love shopping over there.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the room over Zoom that would like to speak in public participation? Seeing none, we'll move on to remarks by counselors. I'll address that immediately since that's just to be currently it's pickleball in that spot right now. We've been doing a lot of extensive work to look at that Northwoods Plaza about revamping it and seeing about getting a market in there. And it's something we're actively working on. So I can speak to that. Any other comments from Counselor Nagel?
Yeah, I would like to see that something happen to that too. And I know it's, having served on this council, it has been a long process of finding people and then they're backing out or being something wrong with the projects. So it isn't that we haven't been ignoring it. It's just that things just haven't come to fit right. I know that isn't the answer that you want to hear, but we haven't just ignored it. There's only so much this council can do since it's private property. On a separate issue, I'm also president of the Newington Historical Society, and the Newington Historical Society is looking for a new administrative director and administrative manager. And you can contact it's a part-time position, it's paid. Our present one is retiring after about 25 years. And there will be details in the reminder and so on, or you can contact the Historical Society during their office hours. They're open not for office visitations, but to call on Monday mornings, Wednesday afternoons, and Friday mornings. So we are interested and would like and prefer that someone who is in town, who is interested in history and getting a part-time position in that particular venue to apply. Thanks.
Thank you, Counselor Nagel. Counselor Floyd?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll just say, Grant, amen to everything you said. And we're really glad to have Blaze Pickle doing this pickleball place, doing a fantastic job. Seems to be very popular in town. But I think the mayor and the town manager shared, you're a meeting early. Next meeting, in about 2 weeks, we're gonna have an update on a lot of improvements and hopes for improvements to that plaza and other locations in the town center. So would invite you back to join us at the next meeting and we'll have an update on that.
I'll send my information to the town manager.
We'd love to have it.
And
Very good.
I'm welcome, if you have any questions about anything in this town, as far as the town's historian, I can help them. So But I grew up in this town. Like I said, when Food Mart was a swamp, I used to catch pollywogs, goldfish, all that stuff before all that development went in. As a matter of fact, I had an uncle, Tommy's.
Sure, sorry, I'm sorry, yeah, it's just not, we have to get it into the record if it's gonna be in the minutes, I'm sorry, I hate to cut you off, but we'd like to hear you talk, but we have to, we just have to stick to our rules, appreciate it.
But we'll chat.
Yeah, we can, we'll definitely, I will definitely be reaching out, for sure.
Thanks.
Thank you, thanks.
Thank you.
Moving on to informational items, we have one. Youth basketball registration, early bird registration open on October 1st. It closes October 30th. After October 30th, rates increase. Registration overall for youth basketball will end on November 21st, and I am told that there will be no exceptions for late registrations. So if you want to get into, if you're trying to register for youth basketball, do it right now for your spots pick up. Counselor Page.
Thanks, Mayor. Just a brief mention. It was sent to me by State Rep Gary Turco, and I think to all of us, there was a flyer for any veterans who do not have dental coverage, that there is money available, a finite amount. So, but there's some money available for veterans who might need dental work. And I know I posted it. I encourage other people to post it, the flyer, if you want more information. I don't know if the town is handling this, so I'm not going to send them your way, town manager, but please contact me, or if I may, anyone on the council who has that information, again, for veterans who might need some dental care. There's some grant monies available, so.
And I do believe the services are at Yukon and at Tunxus.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to see. All right, any other informational items? All right, seeing none, we will move on to item 17, executive session. Counselor Page, would you please read that resolution?
That's where I have that.
Yeah, it's in the very back.
There we go.
There you
Thank
go.
you. I couldn't. All right. Resolved that the town council in accordance with Connecticut General Statute 1-2006A hereby moves to go into executive session and invites Mayor John Trister, the members of the town council, and town manager Jonathan Alschel to discuss his annual performance evaluation.
Second.
There's my Counselor Page, second by Counselor Floyd. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstain? Motion carries unanimously. We are in executive session. Everyone like a 5-minute break or so beforehand?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. We will be back in 5 minutes.
Thanks for coming by.
All right, we're back. All right, we are back from executive session. I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Menke, seconded by Counselor Gonzalez. Any discussion on adjournment? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed or abstain? All right, we are adjourned at 10:12 PM. Great meeting.
Thank you.
That wasn't,